In honor of the 15th anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Melee, I figure I should discuss a topic that has kept many people in mind that's been around for about 9 years now. Is that why do some Melee fans not care that much for Super Smash Bros. Brawl? And I think I've come up with 3 reasons why. Now, these aren't exact reasons. These are just my guesses. I mean, I know there's plenty of Melee fans who like Brawl, and plenty of Brawl people who like Melee, but we're here to discuss about the transition from Melee to Brawl and why some have made it and not have taken it as easy or lightly. So first of all, let's start off with a very basic thing, which is the release window between the two games. Now let's do a little Smash Bros. History here first. Now, the original Super Smash Bros. Came out in 1999 on a Nintendo 64, and it was a pretty successful hit. I mean, it started off in Japan, then came to North America, was a huge hit, and then the people who grew up with that game, a lot of them probably went to play Melee in 2001 since on the Gamecube, since it was around, it wasn't an exact launch title for the Gamecube, but it came out around that time, and so a lot of those people who played the original decided to go over to Melee, because really, in reality, what Melee is just an upgraded Super Smash Bros. Like Super Smash Bros. 2.0, really. I mean, I noticed changes like they have an adventure mode and they have target smash, but really a lot of the elements are kept with the same thing. It's more hand-to-hand combat, really. But then there's a 7-year gap between Melee and Brawl. And in March of 2008, Super Smash Bros. Brawl comes out, and it is widely conceived as one of the best games on the Wii. But a lot of the people who played Melee, by that point, a lot of them had grown up already, had gone off to college or had gone off to do other things in life. And so maybe when they have gone to play Brawl, they may have thought to themselves, this isn't what it was like when I was a kid. This kind of sucks. So really, the nostalgia factor has really kind of pulled back a lot of people from enjoying Brawl. I mean, Brawl is a really good game. I like it, but there are some big differences, which we will discuss later on. But speaking of systems between the GameCube and the Wii, that's my next talking point. And so, anyhow, getting back to what I was saying earlier about the systems. So yeah, the differences between the GameCube and the Wii for number 2. Now, for the GameCube, it was more of a gamer's console, I would say. Now, even though at that point, up to like when the Wii had come out, the GameCube was Nintendo's worst selling system, selling at around 21 million units, while the Wii has sold over 100 million units as in its lifetime, as it's recording. Now, the GameCube, at that time, before the Wavebird, before anything else, it was just a wired-in controller, and you just play like you did on the N64, only the controller wasn't as awkwardly designed. But anyhow, so people treat it as more of a traditional fighting game. But when Smash Bros. Brawl came up to the Wii, there was a lot of skepticism about it, because they thought because a lot of people, including myself, thought it would be a lot more motion control based, and you'd have to do a lot of physical activity. But the good news was that you could plug in your GameCube controller and play like it was Melee. Except you really couldn't, because here's the thing though about the Wii. The skepticism about the Wii really came out when it first went in 2006, because it was marketed as more of a fitness system, really, less than a game console, more for the families, and that may have turned off a lot of hardcore Nintendo fans, especially the ones who grew up on the original Smash Bros. And Melee. Remember, that 7-year gap has to do a lot with it, and Nintendo changed quite a bit. They focused less on the games, I think, and more on, just trying to build a family value system like they did in the NES and like in the NES days, really. So it wasn't really marketed as a game system, the Wii, rather it was marketed more as like, another form of exercising, like a Nike Fitband or whatever. But anyhow, so when Brawl came out, it ended up being like, a lot of ways like Melee, but for the fans, like, seeing it on like a kiddie or family system like the Wii kind of turned them off in a way, because they thought initially before the game came out, and even when they played it, it's like, this is just a watered down version of Melee. But I think there's one aspect of Brawl that was really put down a lot of hardcore Melee fans. And honestly, and this is one of the most popular aspects, so don't get upset with me when I mention this. That item would be none other than the Smash Ball. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're thinking to yourself, White Rice, why the Smash Ball? It's the greatest thing to ever come to Smash Bros. And for some people, I would agree, although here's the problem that probably a lot of hardcore Melee fans have with the Smash Ball. it changes up the dynamic of the game. Now, as I was mentioning up earlier in the game, in this video, Melee was a hand-to-hand game in which, you had items, yes, but it was focusing more on trying to get your opponent to die, pretty much. While in Brawl, you still have to do that, but once the Smash Ball comes up, it's not really about trying to get your opponent, but rather it's just trying to get control of the Smash Ball, like in Quidditch when you try to catch the snitch or whatever. So when you go and get the Smash Ball, you're not really trying to get your opponent, but rather you're trying to get the ability that may take out your opponent. But really, yeah, so it's more about the effects rather than your opponent. It's a spectacle watching these Final Smashes. They're fun to watch, but what's the point really? I mean, Melee, it's more focused. It takes some Melee fans think that it takes more skill to take out the opponent without the Smash Ball, because the Smash Ball usually could take out an opponent in 1 or 2 hits, really. So I mean that. And also, you can play the game without the Smash Ball, but Brawl was marketed on the Smash Ball, really, because it was a brand new thing. Well, people, that is my 2 cents on why I think some Melee fans may have not cared for Brawl as much. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of this video. Subscribe and tune in for videos every week. Till again, this is White Rice sign off. Bye.